A character named Emma is shown at the beginning of the movie, who is observing a cat through her bedroom window, which is drowning in the water. She remains emotionless here. Actually, she was not feeling regret for drowning this cat. She doesn't think to go to rescue this cat. After this, it is seen that she used to live with her father, and she communicates while taking breakfast. Meanwhile, her aunt approaches her house, who talks about the new caretaker of Emma. In fact, Emma's first caretaker had faced an accident, and no one knew this was how she faced the accident. Emma's aunt has searched for a new caretaker for her. When they both are talking, Emma tells them about the dead cat. Then it is observed that Emma's father was taking that dead cat out of that pond. It is seen that there was not a little grief on the face of Emma. That cat might be alive if she saved the life of this cat. Her father is seen interviewing her new caretaker. He hires her, observing her manners. Emma had applied for a new citizenship. She wanted to get this medal. It is seen that she is behaving perfectly with each person in her school. She is playing with some of the kids, and then a girl strikes with her. Emma supports that girl. She is also seen practicing to smile at home. The next day was the award day. Her father makes her wear a charming dress, and he leads her to the school, where many parents had visited for the award ceremony. The teacher announces here that Milo has won the Medal of Citizenship. She was telling her father that Milo was the winner of this medal. She did not deserve this medal. She humiliates Milo. She also asks for an apology for this behavior from her father. She takes Milo to a cliff, and Milo says after a time that we should return home. Emma goes near Milo. Later, something blank comes on the scene. After a time, Milo's parents are witnessed visiting Emma. They ask her, "Have you seen our son Milo anywhere?" She replies, "I have not seen him for a long time." Then some girls shouted for help, who were coming from the direction of the cliff. Milo's parents also go after those girls, and they observe while reaching them that their son is drowned to death. He was also given a CPR teammate, but he had died. The next day, Emma's father asks her while taking breakfast, how is she feeling at the death of her friend? But she overlooks this at all, as she did not feel any grief at the death of her friend. On the same day, Emma's caretaker also comes home. Emma observes at night that her caretaker is seeing her father's medicine. She thinks she wants to steal them. She tells her caretaker when she was watching a movie with her, "I witnessed that you wanted to steal the medicine of my father." Then she says, "You will have to carry out what I order you. I will not say a single word about this to my father." The caretaker gets furious at this. In spite of this, she agrees with Emma. The next day there was Milo's funeral ceremony in which everyone was crying. Then Emma is also seen weeping before the parents of Milo. She was pretending as such, as she is in full grief at their son's death. When Emma's father talks to Milo's parents, they tell him that Milo's medal is also lost. Emma's father got worried hearing this. When he goes to take the dresses for laundry in Emma's room, he discovers Milo's medal there. Then he started doubting Emma. He witnesses some photos there in which Emma is staring at Milo. He had started to suspect his daughter. Emma's teacher comes to Emma's house with the investigator on the coming day. She talks to her father after coming, and reveals that some kids had witnessed Emma with Milo on the cliff before her death. Emma's father investigates Emma at night. "Had you visited the cliff with Milo?" she says in a straight way. "I did not visit." Emma's father says to her on this, "Some people had witnessed you with Milo on the cliff." She loses her temper on this and says, "That has been told to you by Mrs. Ellis, and she does not like me." The next day, the same caretaker is seen going to Emma's workplace, and she asks for permission to smoke there. Emma's father says to her on this, "She cannot smoke here, because there have been many chemicals." When the same caretaker goes outside with Emma later, so they may play, they notice that there is a parked car of Mrs. Ellis out of the house. The caretaker tells Emma that a case has been filed against her. It is being said that at the death of Milo, then you were also with her. Then the caretaker leads Emma into the house, and she attempts to frighten her while saying, "If you have committed this, then you will be seated on the criminal's electric chair." Emma is very frightened by this. In spite of this, she does not accept that she has committed something. The next day, the caretaker is seen searching for Emma in the whole house. Meanwhile, a wasp nest is shown on the roof of Emma's house. Emma's teacher was driving her home. Then a wasp disturbs her. Then a wasp nest is seen in the back seat of her car, which had been placed in her car by Emma. She had planned that her teacher might meet her end in some way by accident. Emma's caretaker also notices that medal, which belonged to Milo. She hangs that medal on the lamp in Emma's father's room, taking this so that Emma may be caught. When Emma comes to her father's room, she immediately hides that medal behind her. Emma's father notices this action, and then he makes Emma sit near him. And he asks, "My daughter, from where did you get this medal?" Emma fabricates the story that Milo himself had gifted this medal to her. Next day, when Emma's father is going to the office, then he also calls a therapist along the way, because he wanted to treat her daughter with any psychiatric drugs. Then he observes the way that someone has faced an accident. On the other side, Emma is seen, who is asking her caretaker, "You had hung this medal on the lamp," and she was in an aggressive mood. Then Emma's father came there, and he asks Emma to accompany him, and he says, "Take your medal that you took from Milo." Then he leads her to Milo's house. Emma returns this medal to Milo's mother, who seems so confused. While taking this medal, at the same time she tells Emma's father that Mrs. Ellis has died in a car accident. Emma pretends to weep as she hears this news, and she says that she was her best teacher. When she was returning home with her father, she quite forgot about her teacher's death. She was saying to her father, she will bake the biscuits with her caretaker before moving home. Her father is shocked and worried about her behavior. The next day, Emma's father is seen working at his workplace. The wasp nest had disappeared from his room, where it had been before. Now he was suspecting that his daughter was involved in the death of Mrs. Ellis. Then Emma's psychiatrist is seen, whose first meeting was with Emma. Then that psychiatrist tells Emma's father that your daughter is like a normal kid. Emma had also entrapped that psychiatrist through her conversation. Emma's caretaker Chloe says to Emma, "Going there, I can also be your stepmother because your father has affections for me." Emma becomes furious at this, and she asks her father, "Going there, what Chloe is saying to me as she wants to be my stepmother. Do you like her?" His father does not respond to this and leaves that place. Then it is seen at night when Chloe was watching TV. Then she hears a noise from an outbuilding. She moves out of the house in search of Emma, and she glimpses a shadow, and she instantly moves to an outbuilding. Then someone locks the door of the outbuilding. She was caught in the outbuilding, and then it is seen that the outbuilding is set on fire. Chloe peeps through the window where Emma was in a standing position. And it was Emma who had set this outbuilding on fire to kill Chloe. Then Chloe is seen, who burns to death in fire. When Emma's father knows about this, he calls the firemen. They extinguish the fire before coming there, but Chloe had died at that time. After this, Emma's father comes to her room, and he asks her, coming there, "Was it you who killed Milo?" He says, "My daughter, I will take every step to save you, but you will have to expose the reality before me." Emma tells this to his father, "Yes, it was me who had pushed Milo from the roof." Emma's father also asks her about her ex-caretaker. She tells me, "Yes, she had caught my hand with aggression. As a result, I pushed her from the saddle." In the end, Emma's father asks about Chloe. Emma was enraged by this. She shouts with fury, "Yes, she tried to become my stepmother, so I also killed her." Emma's father knew the whole truth, that his daughter is behind all the crime scenes. He had gotten upset too much, that his younger daughter is committing great crimes. Emma says to her father she will not act as such in the future, but Emma's father was scared. The next day, an officer contacts him. He says, "I want to meet Emma," but her father makes a lame excuse, as she is suffering from a high fever. Emma's father was so frightened, as his daughter may not be seized by them, so he had taken his daughter to the lake house. The house guard greets them. On the same day, the officer contacts Emma's father again, and he tells him that building had not caught fire by itself, but someone had set the building on fire. Emma's father had also placed a gun at his home for his safety. and he was thinking that he might use this gun at any time to end this scenario. Then Emma turns on all the stoves in the house, so her father may die because of the gasoline. She herself goes out of the house, locking all the doors. At the same time, Emma's father wakes up as he smells the gasoline. He opens all the windows and doors quickly. As he witnessed his daughter leaving the house, he got the idea that his daughter had attempted to kill him. He goes to his daughter and asks, "Why did you do this?" She says in rage, "If you die, then I will stay with my aunt, who is the best one." Her father brings her back into the house so comfortably, and he gives her the intoxicating drug in the chocolate at night. In the next scene, it is seen that Emma is standing before her father. She has caught a gun, and she fires the gun at her father. But this bullet does not touch her father, it is stuck into a pillow. Then her father wakes up and asks, "How are you waking up till now?" Emma says that you mixed the intoxicating drug into my chocolate, so I replaced my chocolate with yours. Emma wanted to fire the gun at her father, but he snatched the gun from her at the same time. Emma instantly called 911, and she hides, going into a lavatory. She informs me after calling that her father wants to kill her. Their guard had also approached there, hearing the gunshot. He checks after coming and finds that Emma is hidden in the lavatory, and his father is standing there, pointing his gun at her. The guard wanted to rescue Emma. Meanwhile, Emma's father kills himself with a gun instead of killing his daughter. Emma notices that her father fired the gun at himself in front of her. At the end of the movie, Emma's aunt is seen, who has come to carry her. She embraces her. She says, "Your father had a mental disorder and was saying to all that, 'You have killed all. How is it possible?'" It referred to the fact that Emma's aunt used to have a firm belief in her. And the movie concludes with this scene.